What's happening to everybody? As hell broke loose in the evening, cold as hell, but we don't see any snow in the forecast. So I like the cold, but I like it with snow. And all the snow's gone. I'm sad, depressed. You know, I've said all my life, whenever I'm wrong, it's a good thing. I like being wrong. Like, I believe that the fundamental Christian right is incapable of learning another fucking thing in her life. And if I'm wrong, that's a great thing. I really don't believe that there are very many atheists in the world. I honestly don't. I believe there's a growing number that call themselves atheists because they're not religious. But they still harbor a belief in saint and evil. So let me tell you what a true evolutionary atheist is. There is no guiding force of good or evil, period. There isn't one. It doesn't exist, because if it did, we'd all be aware of it. There is no God, because if there were, we'd all be aware of it. It's not a subject. It's only a subject for small-minded, afraid people. There are many intelligent people who have their intelligence crippled by fear of death. It's a normal human trait, fear of death. And it has crippled humanity. We are only the highest order of animal. That's all we are. There's a lot of evolutionists who think that humanity went wrong. We should not have happened. Every other day I agree. We don't get along with one another. We don't get along with the earth. We're crazy. We're stupid. The intelligent are outnumbered 1,000,000 to 1. Because you take two people with an IQ of 120 and you put fear in one of them, that IQ of 120 dives to a point where they're not functional to think rationally. You take a person with an IQ of 120 with no fear, they're going to think a lot smarter than a person with IQ of 140 who has fear. Fear is the main thing. Fear is the crippling thing. And then the idea that there is a saintliness out there or an evil out there. It's not there. We gained our morality and ethics over hundreds and hundreds of thousands of years, beginning with the need to survive. That's where our first ethic came from, the need to survive. We found out that we could do that better in groups, in communities. And then we found out if we kill our community off because we wanted their orange tree, then the community just got weaker. And our chemicals, our emotions grew. The chemicals, our consciousness expanded. Our feelings, our emotions, and with our self-awareness, which is the one thing that separates us from the other animals, we came to develop empathy and compassion to know what it feels like to be another person. Empathy and compassion and love are the highest goods, but love is personal. A humanitarian atheist is out to see a world ruled or countries ruled by a government that is totally rational, scientific-based, unemotional, but with a degree of empathy in it so that all human beings can pursue their right to their happiness. Because the one thing that all human beings have in common around the globe, all the way back to the beginning, is the personal desire to be happy this day. Within some of those personal desires is an overwhelming desire for greed. Greed is like the plague, but we don't go after greed like we go after the plague, because greed is propped up by this self-conscious awareness that comes up with propaganda for the reasons why we need greed. This comes from our higher intelligence, which usually is a contradiction because our higher intelligence forms very low intelligent ways of going forward. I've met some atheists who go with the pure Darwinian natural selection method. If they're weak, kill them. I'm not for that kind of thinking. I'm not at all. But it's evolutionary. It's in the evolutionary program. That person has not developed the empathy and the compassion and the conscience that goes with that wants to see another person not suffer. And with evolved consciousness, we have internal peace or internal conflict. And with this internal awareness, we want to go to sleep with a clear conscience of not intentionally harming anyone. There is no good or no evil out there. There's a lot of judgment in the so-called atheist community against trivial shit, as if there's a, you sound like Christians, that there's a pure black and white, black and white, right and wrong way to do this. I don't agree at all. You're not atheist. The true atheist has the internal strength and knowledge and development to have a set of ethics and morals, and wishes to see this ethic and moral grow so that we can live on a planet without murder. We can live on a planet where people don't have to breed just to feel like they're humans, because it's all they have left to do, such as the deprived in Ethiopia and places where they just overpopulate. But it's not because we're directed by a divinity, a saintliness. And the Darwinian atheist isn't directed by a satanic evil. It's the hundreds and million years of evolving human consciousness. That's atheism. So maybe you want to re-identify yourself. Might solve some conflicts. Lucy out.